And welcome to a very scorched hot episode of the Empower Man podcast. It's your boy Mikey G coming to you live from the free state of Florida, where the heat index is 109. It's so hot down here that my private areas are soaking wet. That's how hot it is, Greg. And at my age, the fact that they can get soaking wet and still perspire, I'll take the W.
That's a win.
It's a win. But today I am looking at the man who puts Dr. Ruth to shame. He was Larry Flint before Larry Flint. But more importantly, he is the doctor of amore. He is the guru that all men heed. What I'm telling you guys, he's the source. He is the parent, the patriot, the champion of the Second Amendment. More importantly, he's here for us. He's meant to heal the world, make it a better place, make it good for you and me and the entire human race. Greg A. Tedora, number one. Sir, how are you doing on this Saturday in communist Connecticut? Oh,
well, that's okay. It is. It's cooled off a little bit, which is nice. You know, I like the heat though, so I don't mind it. But overnight, man, dropped in like high 60s, low 70s, gorgeous. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yes. What's all good is what's inside my hometown, Poughkeepsie, New York. What's inside of this mug right here is a Cafe Bustelo. Oh, I love my Cafe Bustelo.
Classic. It's classic.
You know what's classic, Greg? That beard.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry,
you can
sir.
tell by the grays it's classic.
And I'm sorry, sir, but did you lose your neck somewhere?
I don't know what it is. The camera angle, this chair. I do have a neck, people, because everyone comments. So I have a neck somewhere under my beard. So I just look like the hunchback of Notre Dame. Jacked. No, definitely not that.
You are jacked, sir.
But I'll tell you what I just weighed in at off camera. I'm going to tell you what I weighed in at. It's bad.
Ooh, why don't we take a poll?
Well, I'm dropping weight for the surgery, so I wrote it all down. So
no, for all the liberals out there, especially my favorite liberal in Orlando, wink, wink. He's not transitioning. Relax. He's going in for a minor procedure. He's not going to come out looking like Caitlyn Jenner. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but he is a man.
Correct.
Speaking of men and women, I want to give a shout out to all of my friends out there, our EMTs, our first responders, our policemen and women, our firemen and women, everyone out there, our ICE agents that make our communities safe and sound.
Absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to all the military personnel here and overseas, like we always do. Very much appreciated. We thank you for everything that you do and for your families. Stay safe and come home.
Right. Well, today's episode should be social media. Really, you see a lot of things on there, and we see a lot of supposedly dating gurus. Now, Greg and I are two very common people. We don't really have a big, let's just say, online profile, or we're not like these like influencers or like these stars or celebrities. We're just like, we're everyday people. So what's been really cool is we've been getting a lot of questions about dating and how we navigate through that. Obviously, there's two sides of the spectrum. There's Greg, who is, settled and has his stuff together. And then there's the delinquent. And I happen to be the delinquent. I always say I talked with my friends the other day, I'm a mess, but I'm God's mess and I'm God's delinquent. So I take solace in that, knowing that. But Greg, you see, we get a lot of questions about dating. So let's just throw it out there. I see a lot of these girls out there that you see one perspective of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this earlier about common day dating in 2025. So I'm going to just lob it up there for you, buddy. Why is it so hard to date in 2025?
So social media, like you said, is one of the biggest problems. We all know why social media is good for business and exposure and free marketing and gives you a platform where you wouldn't normally be able to reach certain people across the country business wise. However, the dating area, in my opinion, you're the experienced one in this, not me. But from what I see from mutual friends and both guys and girls, that it's just troublesome, and everything from when we were younger, dating in our 20s or 30s, whatever, has pretty much completely changed. And I think it's just horrible. It looks like it's super hard. And what people don't realize is when you're on, I'll use Instagram for example. When you're on Instagram and these reels come up, now they're all suggested from your settings. And you can go in and wipe it out to get new content, which you have to really dig deep and watch videos on because this is all pre-manufactured. But if you see a funny clip or whatever, and let's just say the funny clip is dissing guys, if you're a girl, and you click on it and you watch it, I don't care if it's 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. Your phone is now, that's in your cookies or whatever they call it. And now the algorithm is going to start pushing, because you hit on that, pushing all more negative stuff. So you're compounding with interest, negative, 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 anti-guy, 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 anti-men. I don't need a man. I don't need a relationship. Let me do my thing. And it just starts to spiral if you don't check yourself. It's the same thing when you talk to your friends about, oh, I want to get a pair of shoes. And then you magically go on Instagram or whatever. All of a sudden, shoe advertisements come up. It's the same thing, but now it's, when you're single looking for certain things. So you're basically feeding into more negativity, which you are what you eat. We say it all the time. Now you're surrounded by negativity. Nobody can argue with me. You can try. It's going to affect you in some way, shape, or form negatively. And you're going to have a chip on your shoulder that wasn't there to begin with because it was manufactured through the algorithms through social media. And I think that makes dating incredibly hard.
Yeah, and I'll add to that too. You and I, we've always been a big fan of romance. I have been. I think
Mhm.
when you growing up, we saw romance stories about how, I think some of my favorite was Family Ties, when Alex
Mhm.
Keaton met his wife. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. They actually fell in love in real life. That's his real life wife, and they met on the set and they fell in love. It's when Alex
Yeah.
went to college, met Ellen. Ellen was I forgot, Tracy
Mhm.
something is her name. Tracy Pollan was her name.
Yeah.
She played Ellen on Family Ties, and they fell in love, and they fell in love in real life. And when we were growing up as kids, that was impressionable. Like we talk about Top Gun, right? One of our favorite movies, about how that evolved and that romance between Maverick
Yeah.
and I forgot her name, Kelly McGillis's character. I forgot her name. But I think for people that are our age, they know her character.
Mhm.
But I feel like
Mhm.
romance is almost like not vilified, but I feel like romance is dead. I feel like everything now is like a checklist, and it's like going on a job interview, because these dating apps have killed dating, I think. And I'd like to get, I know you've never really been on a dating app. You've never been on a dating app, but
No.
no, and that's the truth. That's a
Nope.
shoot there. You've never been on a
Nope.
dating app. But in your,
Mm-mm.
what I tell you and what all of our friends have told you, what are your thoughts on dating apps and how it maybe have ruined romance? Because I feel like everything is like a job interview these days.
Well, like you say, I agree. It's transactional, but
Yes.
you get out what you put in. So these dating apps makes it easy where swipe right, swipe left, meet up here, meet up there. There's no courting's not the right word, but there's no, and chase is the wrong word. There's no natural progression from just a natural meeting with natural conversation, whether it's you're nervous or not, or the way it used to be. You go up to somebody or they come up to you, start talking. Then you take it from there if it goes well. Now it's just, hey, I'm here. Let's meet up. And then that's it. If that's what you want, that's cool. That's no problem with that. That's actually very convenient and it's quick and all good. We know a ton of people that do it. I'm not hating on them. But for the people that are, want that real relationship or something, I mean, the odds of it, everyone's like, "Oh, my friends met on eHarmony." I'm going to be honest, that's a small percentage of people. There's, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it.
Right.
and they got lucky. They're an example. They're an anomaly. That's great. Good for them. I'm not hating,
Mm,
but it makes it very easy. It's just chumming the water and you're getting low hanging fruit. And it's when you're in an area, Westchester, I'll pick on Westchester because I'm from there. It's the same pool as shit. There's nothing new. There's no new flavors. It's the same shit just passed around. Might as well just get in line. It doesn't matter. So it's all the same. There's nothing new. There's that aspect. And then I just think it takes effort, which I think should be put into when you're getting to know somebody away.
mm,
It just makes it so easy.
mm,
But then when both men and women are on these sites, I'm tired of hearing women always complain. There's no good men. But you're on these sites and you're going on all these dates and doing all your things, not hating you're single. But that all comes at a cost and a price because it's just recycled goods after a while. And you know me, I always tell you, you'll meet somebody naturally, whether you're going to the gas station, at the market, you will meet somebody. It might not be on your timeline, but you're not on your own timeline. Like you say, there's a higher power and it's their timeline. If you're meant to meet somebody, you will. And it's not up to you. If you want to just have fun in the meantime, I think these apps are good. But let's be honest. Who the fuck is honest in their profile? I like to take long walks and read books. I haven't read a book since high school. Stop. Stop. All it's just a barrier of entry to get them to swipe something. Most of these girls go on like shitty photo shoots, put on all these. They don't even look like that. Guys too. Guys lie about things, whatever. But it's already starting off with all falses. It's all smoke and mirrors. Nothing's real. So how can anything real come out of things that aren't even being put in from the get-go real? So I just think it's good to use it to have fun, and that is it. That's my opinion.
well, along those lines, Rick, we have maybe since the pandemic this incessant need for attention. I
Mhm.
feel like everyone is so attention craved and attention starved.
Yeah.
How do you think that has affected the outlook on people when a man meets a woman or a woman meets a man? Like, I feel like if people aren't validated by the way they look or the way they smell or the way they speak or their laughter or whatever they do, I feel like if not enough attention is given, people
Mhm.
tend to like, okay, like she's done or he's done. Do you think that this, because I've seen it, I think just in society, this need for people to be validated and
Yeah.
attention craving, how do you think that affects when people meet? Like, um, do you think it'd be a pro? Do you think it'd be a negative if you're constantly seeking attention and you're on a date and you may not get the attention you're looking for? Like, oh, how come you didn't
Mhm.
notice my dress? Or how come you didn't notice my shirt? Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Have you ever had that experience before or no?
Not that specific example, but yeah, I've been out where it's a pick me, like they're looking for attention. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'll just leave or that's it. I won't see him again. I don't need that. I'm not looking for that because that's a red flag right out of the gate. It's selfish. The younger generation, the high schoolers and going into college, they're worse at this than I think obviously our age because they grew up with social media and they're like, "Oh my god, all I got are 300 likes on this picture." That's going to translate into how come so and so's not giving me attention and da da da. Don't forget, you might meet somebody on an app or through social media. You might start dating them. Somewhere along the line, one or the other might not be comfortable with how you are on social media, which is actually how you met. It's going to get weird. So if you got
Mm,
to follow me on this, like it's going to, how you met will eventually be a problem down the road for one of the two people
mhm,
because they might not want you on there anymore or you're giving too much attention to somebody else. Meanwhile, that's how they got you. And that's also what you're looking for. And vice versa. They might not want you getting all the attention, which is how they met you.
Right.
It's just, in my opinion, it's a bad recipe either way. I don't think it's healthy, and I don't think it's good for a sustainable relationship that has a true foundation. I just don't. Maybe I'm too old for now. I don't understand it. But until somebody can show me, and I'm not talking about a one off or, oh, look at this success story. That it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't,
Right.
but it is such a minute amount that it shouldn't even be registered.
Well, how do you think COVID, like pandemic, how do you think that changed the landscape of dating? Now, let's just use guys, for example. How do you think that's changed the landscape? Because you see, with the advent of OnlyFans, you've seen people come out of the woodworks that there's a lot of lonely people out there and everyone's craving that connection. So I'm wondering if you think during the pandemic, or as I like to say, the great American reset, as they tried to reset what is normal, what's not normal, how do you think that has affected the way dating is viewed by both men and women, if it has changed anything at all?
I think it's changed certain things. I think so. Full disclosure, I was married with a small kid during a baby during the pandemic. But from what I saw is people are starving for attention, yet divorces went through the roof. Domestic violence went through the roof. OnlyFans is being created and gaining notoriety. So you have all of this category going down the tubes. And now they're seeking this. Great timing for the people who invented OnlyFans. Amazing. They create this, and now it's great because a lot of people didn't listen or did listen to the narrative, stayed home, didn't go out, restaurants are closed, bars are closed, da, da, da. So they were seeking attention, which I understand to a degree. Some people need that more than others. So it gave some sort of outlet. But at the same time, what they're looking for with attention, the people that had it in relationships, marriages, families, whatever, couldn't handle being under the same roof for a long period of time. Either the husband or wife was at work during the day, so they only saw bits and pieces of each other. The pandemic forced them to spend actually quality time for an extended period of time, and they end up fucking getting divorced. So it's a great study, I think, to look back and see all these different categories. The columns go up and down and tracking the data, because it really is, to me, it's fascinating. It's in a negative way. It's all negative, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I think here we are in 2025, and I think more people are acceptant of chivalry than they were a couple of years ago, and starting to make a comeback. I feel like it is, because I feel like there's been a kind of a societal shift. Because I know with men, I speak for myself. I think nothing makes me happier than being chivalrous to a lady or a woman. And my friend Patrick always said, it's not that we want love; we want to be able to give our love to someone. But I feel like sometimes our love can be unrequited, because now I feel like there's a new stigma about what a man should be. Do you feel like the stigma of how women perceive men has changed over the last 5, 6, maybe say 10, 20 years?
Yes, right out of the gate, yes. However, it is both parties, or men and women's fault. It's because of all the narratives that are being pushed on TV, radio, songs, social media, which is all like anti-guy. I don't need a guy. I can do it on myself. But I also blame the guys for not holding the line, being strong, being confident, and being a real man, and sticking to the values that you might have grown up with and been taught by your family. Abandon them just to get a piece of tail or be with a girl. And I think that's a horrible, horrible thing to do. It is not worth it. That's a bad trade, if you ask me. So I think it's both men and women's fault for this.
Yeah, and I think along those lines, there's also been, I think, a shift in with that type of what a man is supposed to be or what a woman's supposed to be. But
Yeah.
you're seeing a trend about vulnerability, about how I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, more men are open about their feelings now than probably ever before. But I feel like a lot of women, right? I'm just
Yeah.
hypothetical.
Yeah.
A lot of women can't handle that, or they shy away from that, or they misconstrue that for weakness. Because we've had friends that have
Mhm.
gone through things. And I talk to my people that sometimes my buddies I work out with, they'll tell
Yeah.
me some stories. But I've always been very open, very transparent, very
Mhm.
honest. I don't really hide anything. Um, but do you think vulnerability from a man's perspective is less acceptable?
It's a double-edged sword nowadays. So it's a good thing that, yes, I think men share their feelings more now. Not a bad thing. However, it is a bad thing if it's forced by the woman for the guy to do that because they want these emotional guys. Yet the cost is if you're making them less of a man. And that's not a chauvinistic statement. So I hope people can understand. I'll try to explain it. You want a man, you want a strong man, a provider. And I don't mean financially because people jump down throats when I say that, but a provider in general, in the house, in the home, whatever, everyday things. You want somebody to share emotions with their partner, no problem. But if they don't show it, they might get, heat for that. If they show too much, they're a pussy. Or my man's a bitch and I'm going to go find a real man that's like hard and tough, and it's like that creates its own problem right there. So you want somebody that does that, but if they do that, you're going to look at them differently. It doesn't work like that. And
Mm.
I've known people that's happened to. Oh, I want my man to open up. He opens up. She's like, oh wow, what a bitch. I'm like, you wanted him to do that. Now it's a problem and it's causes friction, and that's one aspect to answer your question. The other is, I think nowadays it's too much, and I don't think a lot of the emotions are real. I think it's they're just doing it to say they do it. They're doing it to appease the person. That's different to me. That's not natural. And I think it's created this simp culture where no guy wants to put his foot down. It's okay to do that, but you can do it in a way where you have an open discussion. And it's okay if two people in a relationship don't feel the same on an issue. That's no problem. But because of the polarity of everything now, which we've spoken about a million times, which is designed that way, if I like chocolate ice cream, she likes vanilla, oh, we got to break up. He's a fucking bad guy. What? There's no problem with that. Why do you think they made two different flavors? So, but because of if you went on social media, oh, you got to get rid of that guy. He likes chocolate ice cream. He's a piece of shit. And oh,
Right.
yeah, you're right. And then like all your single girls back you. Single girls are the worst with other girls, especially in relationships. They just want to, they want them to come back in that pool because they feel like shit about themselves. And they just bring each other down instead of building each other up. And they're the first ones to ditch their girl out back in the day. When a group of girls goes out, they meet a guy, you're supposed to stay together. They'll ditch their friends for a guy in a second. Ditch it.
Absolutely. Well,
But
we've
anyway,
seen it.
that's yeah, of course. That's
We've seen it. Yeah.
way off course
Yeah.
of the question. But the emotions aren't a bad thing, but it's a slippery slope. And I think there's just nothing but soft men out there now. There's very few men, very few, especially here in the Northeast.
Hmm.
It is rare.
Hmm. Well, I'll add on to that too. I feel like a lot of people take the easy way out.
Of
I
course.
feel like it's just very easy now for people. Like, nah, Greg, you know what? You don't like chocolate ice cream. You don't like vanilla ice cream. I'm out. Right? Why do you
Hmm.
think people are so easy? Why do you think people are? I feel like almost people are looking for a way out in a way where people don't want to feel trapped or they don't want to feel like locked down. Do you feel like people are just will look for any excuse to kind of
Yeah.
like end things or
Yes.
just get away from someone?
So yes, and I think the reasoning is they just don't want to put the work in. And it might even be just a little bit of work. They feel too entitled. They feel like they don't need to put anything in. I'm so perfect. I don't need to do this.
Right.
The sight of one thing and they're ready to just jump ship.
Right.
How are you going to grow together as a couple and build that bond even stronger if you don't go through shit together?
Right.
That I don't understand. They are so quick because social media says so. And it's also these dating apps make it easy. Oh, I can just go meet somebody in 10 minutes. I'll pull the ripcord and go meet somebody new right now. And that's it. So it's a problem. And I think that we see it every day. And I think it's all negative, man. I don't think it's good. They are very fast, both men and women, because they don't want to deal with anything.
I agree.
The best quote I've heard in a long time, and I definitely will get hated on for this. I don't want to mess it up. It said, let me think. A man will sacrifice his happiness for his family. A woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness. And it's so true nowadays, in my opinion. It's true. Because they go off feelings. Oh, I feel this way. Okay, I feel a certain way too sometimes, but I still have a family and I'm going to break down this whole house just because I'm feeling a certain way instead of maybe leaning on my partner, getting stronger together and building the family. They'll sacrifice in a second their family just for happiness.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people too, and I'll use girls as an example, and then we can talk about guys. Do you think girls find that they think the grass is always greener on the other side? Or do you think it's more men? Do you think more men feel that way? Do you think more girls feel that way?
I'm
What
biased.
are your thoughts on that?
I'm biased because I'm a guy. I'll say I think girls do that, but I know both do that. I think it's
Right.
equal. But yes, I think they think the grass is greener. All because everything I just said. Nobody wants to put the work in. Everyone's perfect, and there's too many options now. But what they don't understand, the options aren't quality. It's not quality. So of course you can go out and date 5 people right now, but they're all shit. Just wait for that one person. I don't know. I'm old. And we're not like saints over here, everybody. I mean, everyone, our friends know how we are and were. But I think it's yes, they think the grass is greener. They always do. Whether it's a financial thing, whether it's an emotional thing, or I want more things. I think certain people are natural survivalists. They're like cockroaches. When a nuclear bomb goes off, there's still those fucking bugs that'll survive, and that's I think their mentality. They'll just leapfrog from lily pad to lily pad, guy to guy to up their situation. Oh, I got this out of that. Now I got 2 things out of this guy. Let me leapfrog. I get 3 things and they just build and they're just survivalists. I know
Yeah.
girls that do it, and I'm not hating, but call what it is, please.
Facts are facts, man. And I also think to add on to that too, there's also a need that everyone gets psychoanalyzed. Oh, Greg just got out of something long. He's not ready to date. And like they put words in your mouth. They put they tell you what you're thinking, right? It's like, oh, well, Greg's like hasn't been single. He needs to be single for a while. He's not ready to date, or he needs to go out and do certain things, or maybe so and so, has never been, married with kids, or like, well, like because let's just say hypothetical, you have 2 kids, going through your stuff. You want to find someone who's been through a similar situation. So there's some relatability, which I think is not a bad thing, but it doesn't always equate to the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want your opinion on the detriments of psychoanalyzing someone before you even spend time with them.
You mean psychoanalyzing the person you're going to date or
Well,
dating?
let's say you meet somebody. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say you meet somebody and like she's single, never married, no kids. As that red flag. Maybe she's a great person and never met the right
single,
guy. Or
not
maybe she's
married.
oriented.
All right, single, not married, no kids, late
Right.
40s.
Yeah, we could just say like mid to late 40s, and let's just say she doesn't fit the narrative. But you've never met her before because you're
Fit
looking.
what
I'm
narrative?
just saying, So I'm saying maybe you're looking. I'm just saying, use as a hypothetical, right?
Yeah.
You're single.
No, that's my
Single.
answer.
Oh,
I know
okay.
what you're saying. What
Okay.
narrative? The narrative that the general public puts on that, I don't think
Exactly.
you should have that. I think everyone has it. I don't think you should harp on it. You should tune into what matters to you. You meet somebody that's late 40s, career driven, no kids, never married. Listen, you talk to 10 people, you're going to get 10 different things. Oh, she's crazy, or she must be this, or she was that, or she must have been all this stuff in the past. You don't know any of that shit. And
That's
they can
right.
do that to you. And I don't want that done to me.
Me
So
neither.
that goes back to you're like prejudging somebody. You don't know
Right.
any. Maybe she had parents that were sick for, I don't know, 15 years and she took care of them. You're going to give her fucking a label because of that? You don't know the situation. Listen, get to know the person, then do the judgment based off facts. No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should listen to the norms, especially nowadays, because the norms are so fucked up and skewed that it's not relevant to me at all. And I think you should just worry and focus on what you want.
And going back to that quote you said about the man will sacrifice his
His
happiness for his
happiness for his family.
family, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of women sacrifice their happiness, I feel, because there's certain boxes that a guy will check, but they're not really happy because there's really no connection. For example, let's just say you meet somebody, or we have had friends who
Mhm.
are divorced with kids, or maybe they just broke up with somebody. And because someone has never been married before with kids, or someone doesn't make enough money, or maybe they
Mhm.
don't like, they live like a few towns over. I'm just trying to throw some examples out there
Yeah.
because they fit the narrative. It means like, okay, like I'm just gonna roll with it because he checks off all my boxes, but there's no connection. And I feel, and let me know your thoughts on this, women will settle because their boxes have been checked off, and they'll sacrifice their connection just to make sure that the resume kind of fits in with the narrative and that they're looking for. Do you think that is a valid statement?
Of course. Yes, I have no problem saying, yeah, I could see that.
Why do you think that is though?
I don't know. I'm not in the girl's head. It's her thing, but the society or what she thinks society wants, like, oh, but he's good on paper. What does that mean? You could be good on paper and be
Oh,
hold on one second here. What was that?
hold up. Wait, you must have said
Oh,
something.
must have
Something.
said something. Jeez.
I think your past came back to haunt you.
I think it was God speaking to me. I don't know, something fell. Anyway, why do I think they do that? I think because they think society says, "Oh, you're X years old. You need to have X amount of kids by then, and then this, and it's like a timeline." But it's you didn't generate that timeline like society did or whatever shit you're listening to did. And okay, but you always hear this, but he's a nice guy. If I hear but he's a nice guy, you're not into him. Not on that level.
Right.
Not on that. You might like what he looks like on paper, like I said, and like what you said. But where's that passion, that fire? You're okay. You're settling, and whether it's financial or whatever it is, usually it's that. Then I don't want to hear any complaints. But then again, when that woman strays, she won't take accountability. Oh, I strayed. He pushed me away.
How does that happen, Greg? How does a guy push a girl away? Or you think that's all hyperbole? You think it's just like an
Well,
excuse for her
in a
to
girl like
get
that,
away from you?
she's just using that excuse to deflect accountability and blame. She chose the wrong person and settled, but won't take
Mhm.
accountability that's your choice. You
Mhm.
chose that, not the guy, but you just won't take the L. It's fine to take L's, move on. Or break up and then do your thing. Don't stray and then be like, well, he wasn't really there. And, he was a nice guy that you're not into him. It's that simple with me. Are you into the person or are you not? And into it means everything. Yes, they're good on paper. Great. Listen, we know a lot of people that are shit on paper, complete dog shit. Fucking awesome people, awesome partner. Like, so what do you go by? You shouldn't go by any of that. You should go by how you feel, what your head and what your
Really?
heart says at the end of the day. Because you could
Right.
die tomorrow and like you're with somebody because they're good on paper. How's that working for you, by the way? Because
Right.
you're fucking miserable and everybody knows you are.
Right.
What does it
seems
matter?
like. It's almost
That's
like,
why you see all these things. You're getting me started now. You see all these things where a guy will date a waitress or a girl that works at McDonald's. A girl will never do that because they think that's below them and they think they'll never make it or do whatever. So I think that all plays into it. I
yeah.
don't know.
And I think
The hate's
that
been
could also,
strong for me lately. I'm prepared for more hate, so it's fine. It's fine.
yeah, but underneath that hate, I know there's a lot of love out there,
Underneath
Greg.
that hate, people are just mad because I'm just telling the truth that a lot of people just don't want to do because it's not sexy or cool, but I'll call you out on it. And listen, we call ourselves out on the shit we've done in the past, no problem. But just call what it is. You're not into that person.
Right. And a lot of guys will sacrifice their happiness too because a girl looks good on paper. Oh,
Yes.
she's got this, she's got that. And I think for
Yes.
guys, it's more of a, well, it could be probably double-edged sword, right? And let me know your thoughts on this because the visuals, she's got a great body, she's gorgeous, or she's, very appealing.
Hmm.
There's that physical, but sometimes the physical and the emotional don't always match up. So what advice can you give guys out there so they don't get caught in that trap?
That's it's a bigger question than just that, or it's a bigger answer than just the one liner. But
Mm,
guys, there's a million girls out there that look good. And there are some that are good people. Try to get to those. There's a million girls that have great bodies. No one cares. It's the guys that don't have the self-confidence. It's the guys that, will allow a girl to treat them like shit. I have a problem with that. You should be a man and you should be proud. You should be a woman and you should be proud. You shouldn't be put down by anybody. And you definitely shouldn't date or be with somebody that does put you down. So I think I think everybody needs to step their game up, but it's not going to happen, especially in the culture nowadays, because that's not what's cool and that's not what's in. The guys, the guys need to make better picks. All right, a girl has a great body. I can show you 100 of them right now. So what? So what?
agreed.
I don't know.
Agreed. Well, we're gonna kind of go into the next part of this. It's the red flag identities, right? So I'm gonna throw a few red flags out there,
Chuck
and
'em.
Greg, I want you to translate that to the public out there.
All right.
The gospel according to Greg.
Oh boy.
So when a girl says she's not into money, what does that really mean? A girl
What's the
says money doesn't matter
context?
to her. Let's just say you meet a girl, right? We're
Well,
talking.
okay. If money doesn't matter to her, what are her actions showing you?
Mm,
There are girls that money doesn't matter. They're
right,
out there, which is
right,
cool.
absolutely.
But normally, if somebody has to say that, it's like what you said last. Oh, I'm a good guy. Oh, I'm a good girl. Yo, I'm a good mom. I'm a good dad. You don't have to say that. People that are actually good don't have to say a word. So usually the girls that say that are into that, but not all. I'm not going to label all of them. There are some ones out there where that doesn't matter and they care more about the person. It's just extremely rare, and that's awesome.
So that incessant need to validate, like, hey, I'm a good mom, or I'm a good dad, I'm a good person, I'm a good son. If someone's telling you that during your conversations, and
Mhm.
it's like, I'm a good person, I don't deserve this, or I'm a good person. I mean, like, I get it in certain contexts, but
Of
like
course.
when you feel like someone has to sell themselves to you, what advice would you give someone when that red
My
flag
thing
appears?
is that should be heard, not said. That should
Mm,
be you should hear that from other people. You should never have to say it. The more you say something, you're just trying to convince yourself or the other person. And right there, I already know you're full of shit. But I'm a good mom or I'm a good girlfriend. No one said anything.
mm.
I didn't think
Yeah,
any of that. But now you're on my radar because you did say that.
yeah,
I can go around all day saying I'm a great father. I don't say it at all. It's said to me everywhere I go. It's different. I'm not going around saying that. I don't need validation. I know what I do and I know what I am.
yeah. And I think along those lines too, with that constant need for selling yourself underlies a lot of insecurity, right? And that can lead to other behaviors going forward. So as guys, if like, because I was guilty of this about 10, 12 years ago until I had a girl I dated pointed out to me. She's like, you speak a lot, but I want action. Give me action. Show me through your actions that you're a good guy. Right. And I knew I was a good guy, but I always felt like I had to prove myself to people. And then once I was like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense, because a lot of people, I'm guilty of this as well. We do think subconsciously because that's how we're wired. Like, and you don't even realize it. And I'm like, wow, like this girl just pointed out to me something that I wasn't even aware of. And it sounds stupid. It's like, how can you not be aware of what you're saying? But I think when you're programmed a certain way and then someone points it out to you, and I was like, wow, I was like, that's a really good point. And throughout like the last 12 years of meeting people, I find that if you have to sell yourself, then there's probably something underneath that you have to, and again, everyone's different. If you're willing to tolerate that, then that's on you. It's your choice. So understand the ramifications that if someone has to sell themselves to you, there's probably an underlying deeper issue or a deeper insecurity that could have ripple effects as you go throughout that relationship. And then, Greg, I want to ask you another red flag is self-deprecation. Guys and girls both do it. When someone's constantly self-deprecating, how can you translate that self-deprecation? For example.
Yeah, give me an example.
You meet a girl. Oh my God, I look terrible today. Oh my God, this doesn't fit right. Oh my God, like I look fat. Oh my God, I'm so bloated. Oh my God, I haven't worked out in like 5 days. Or oh my God, I ate pizza last night. Once in a while, maybe okay. But if it's constant self-deprecation, what do you translate that? And again, before you speak, I just want to say these red flags that I'm mentioning are based off of experiences from our friends, guys that we talk to, and just common themes throughout, especially down here in South Florida. And I'm sure you get it up there in northern Connecticut. So this is just like overall experiences. This isn't like anything pertinent to any thing or whatnot.
Yeah.
So, just so people don't have an uproar.
Girls, listen up. It's a turnoff. It's a turnoff. Once in a while, like Mike said, no problem. It's funny, whatever. You keep doing it, you're showing me you're not confident. There's nothing sexier than confidence. Not cockiness. There's a fine line. You go too far, that's also a turnoff. There is a sweet spot for both guys and girls. Right. But when you cross the line too many times, it's a major turnoff. It's a red flag. And now we go into what potentially issues am I dealing with here? So that's how my brain thinks now. Not trying to go back to psychoanalyzing people, but when you start giving me breadcrumbs and examples, yeah, I'm going to go with it. But it's a turnoff.
Yeah,
it's not cute. It's not cute.
I agree. I think there's a right place and a right time for self-deprecation, because I've been guilty of it in the past, being too much, and I think I found that balance between when and when not to be self-deprecating.
Yeah.
But I think excessive self-deprecation can be a real turnoff. I think just validate your what you were saying. What about a guy or a girl that sends too many pictures to you? Because guys like to send photos of themselves, but girls do the same. So if you meet somebody and like you're getting things sent to you, and for girls too, like I don't mind getting pictures sent to me, but you got to make sure like if you sent like pictures of like you, I don't know, snowboarding, or you like working out, or like, hey, I'm here, at the gun range. But like, if you're sending pictures of like, you in a bathing suit, like swimming in a pool, that might be okay. Like I'm doing my sport. But if it's something like, hey, I'm at the beach and I'm in a bathing suit, like, I don't know. I feel like if someone sends excessive pictures to someone, the wrong message might get relayed. do you think that's a problem, or do you think? And because guys do it a lot, guys will have no shame sending pictures of parts of their body to someone.
Girls will too. Girls will too.
Yeah.
That's equal.
Well, yeah, and that's why I want to get your thoughts on with someone who sends excessive pictures.
It depends on what stage you're at, in my opinion. If you're with somebody and solid and all that, and you guys are both mutually into that, like, yo, that's cool. But if you're starting to get to know somebody, I don't know. If you're at the beach, take a picture of the beach or the water. I don't know. I don't understand why you have to send a picture of yourself. You're looking for attention. And how many people did you send that picture to? That goes through my mind at that stage. At that stage. But if you're with somebody or whatever, if you're with somebody a long time, that could actually be good. I think it could keep the
Spark going.
stuff going. You
Yeah.
know, I like that. But I think in the beginning, it becomes a fine line of, I don't know, if it depends on where you're at. But if
Right.
it's too much, they're just looking for attention. And but
Right.
you should have known that already because you probably met them a certain way. I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
I think there's no need for excessive photos. But we always talk about you can't control how it lands with somebody,
Right.
but you also shouldn't read into something right away when you don't know where you're even at in the timeline of getting to know somebody.
Right. I also think there's something out there called a false confidence, meaning that, when a guy looks good, they'll send pictures to a girl, but behind that picture is a really insecure person.
Usually is.
Right. And the same thing could be said to, when a girl sends a picture to a guy,
Mm-hmm.
where it's excessive, like, oh, what do you think of this or that or this or that? And the guys will do the same thing. So when girls and guys are sending pictures of themselves, there becomes that false confidence because, all right, they know they look good. They
Mm-hmm.
know they work hard for whatever they do, both guys and girls, right? But there's a false confidence. So do you think that could be a red flag with the excessive pictures, meaning like, hey, if there's this much coming at you, there's something underlying and you should be aware of that? Or is it just like, oh, they're just sending me pictures because, we just met, we're flirting, we're kind of into each other. And, the direction of the potential relationship could either be mostly physical and emotional,
Yeah.
but therein lies the problem. I think when people look at
Mm-hmm.
someone and say, all right, well, he's just out for this or she's just out for that. How can you, as a guy or a girl, stay out of the false confidence trap?
Just know your intent of what you're sending. Are you sending it to look for attention? Are you sending it to actually, I don't know what your messaging is behind it.
Mm.
So, listen, people want to send photos right away. Yeah, that's cool, whatever. But it could derail something because someone's going to interpret that a certain way. Meanwhile, your intent wasn't that. So, it could muddy the waters quite quickly. And hopefully, you have strong communication. We can actually talk about it. But I don't know. I there's nothing wrong with it. It just depends on the relationship and where you're at in the relationship. But
Yeah.
I think you're being a pick me. You're looking for attention, and I can
Yeah.
pretty much guarantee that girl's sending that picture to a bunch of other people, especially in the beginning.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point. And like, when, I have one more red flag and then we'll get to the conclusion in regards to communication. We'll wrap up with communication. But I think one of the last red flags that has been brought to my attention just from people that we've been talking to is people that need to keep up with the Joneses, as you've said, or keeping up
Hmm.
with society. Like, oh, like down here, oh, are we going to go to the brunch at the Breakers? Now, people that are from Florida know the Breakers, and it's a very,
Hmm.
very upscale place, or oh, I want to go to the meat market in Boca, or I want to go here, or I want to go down to South Beach for dinner, so a different place, or like,
Yeah.
like Abe and Louie's, down here in Boca. And like, maybe I just want to stay at home and chill and make dinner, or maybe I want to just go to the beach, or maybe I want to go on the boat, maybe I want to do like Outback or Texas Longhorn. I'm just throwing out examples. But when someone's constantly telling you where they go, that is, kind of like swanky, they name drop, or they say they've been there and they go here, and they're kind of like fitting in with societal norms. This is both guys and girls, because a lot of guys will always say, oh, hey, babe, I go here, or I got my Rolex, or I got like my Range Rover. We know guys like that. They name drop. They like to flash. They're very flashy, right? But to me, that's a red flag. If a girl's constantly telling me where they go, who they hang out with, what they do, to me, that just, I don't need this. I don't see the need for that. Greg, translate that red flag for us.
I don't know. I think if they're this, I'm talking to your example with the girls. Right. Oh, I'm a good girl, or oh, I'm Susie Homemaker, blah blah blah. Yet you're name dropping all these things. I'm not buying that. I'll use the example. We were out a couple months ago, and you were with somebody, and she's putting on somewhat of a front, in my opinion, of who she is or what she wants. And then listen, I did all these things in my 20s. I was on this, I'm not going to name names. I was with so-and-so, and we were in Delray out to dinner.
Oh, right. Yeah,
so, that's right. Full disclosure, I was into all this shit when I was younger. I was on the circuit. I went to all the good restaurants, and I did all of that. I was literally like 20 years old and in my 20s. So when someone's like, oh, I'm a good person, and oh, I'm like, I like to bake cookies on a Wednesday night, and then I don't know what set me off. Something I heard like a trigger place, and I'm like, good people don't go there. But let me start naming places from back in the day.
I know.
The look on that girl's face was crushed. I sunk her battleship in 30 seconds. I was like, oh, you've been here? Did you go here on Tuesday nights? How about this on Friday nights? And like, oh, wow, you were there. Yeah, girl, I know you. I know your weekly circuit. I know it. Don't front. It's all good. I'm not fronting over you. I did all that shit, but I'm not going around saying I'm a saint and I'm a good person and I do this and that. I know what you did, and that's cool, but just keep it real. Just keep it real. Got crushed in 10 seconds.
Yeah. So, yes. And to clarify, that was about a year ago, and I helped her get to the next level in life, and she's now married. So, once again, I helped make it better for the next person.
Of course.
Yeah. Anyhow, yes, I do remember that dinner now quite vividly. Yes. Greg, communication so skewed these days. Lack of eye contact, people don't really do anymore. I think obviously expressing your emotions over text, having difficult conversations, not really something that I feel are being had these days. When someone can't communicate the way you want them to, what should a girl or a guy do?
Well, what do you mean by they don't communicate the way I want to? Because you can't make somebody do something, or what do you mean?
If I want to talk and you want to text.
Oh. Then just pick up the phone. After like 3 texts, you're still texting, just pick up the phone. But you should know the person's either like that or not before you even take it that far. That's an early thing to see, in my opinion.
Well, what if somebody, like, let's just say a girl says to a guy, hey, we need to talk. But the guy's like ignores her, ghosting. We know that's a big thing these days.
Yeah.
How do you navigate those situations? Like what?
Well, what stage are they at, dude? What
Doesn't
stage?
matter. Doesn't matter.
Because that's not happening if you're like it shouldn't be happening if you're like involved and a
Right.
couple, because that should all be ironed out anyway from the beginning.
Right.
But if that's not communication, then
Yeah.
it's
Eh,
very communication is simple. I think the definition of it's off nowadays. Everyone says, "Oh, we're good communicators." No, you're not. And you like to say you are because it checks that box, but you're actually not. You hide behind texts or emails or whatever. You don't pick up the phone, let alone certain conversations should be face to face, let alone the phone. So
mm,
you should be face to face having these conversations. But another thing is funny. w- How about you show your phone to your partner? Would you let your partner go through your phone? Get a lot
my
of heat
phone?
for this. Mhm.
No, I wouldn't let my partner go through my phone. If they wanted
If
to, they
you're
could.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
If you're dating somebody
Yeah.
seriously, you
Mhm.
wouldn't let them go through your phone if they asked?
If they thought I was hiding something, yeah, they could go look.
Yeah.
They could do whatever they want. I have
It's
nothing to
funny
hide.
because people, neither do I. People get very freaked out by that. Like, oh, both guys and girls. Oh, I don't want to show my phone. I shouldn't have to show my phone. That's a trust thing. Okay, you're calling it a trust thing, but if you really trust that person, or if they should really trust you, is what I'm getting at, then let them see your phone.
Right.
Most people, I'm putting in the 90s%, will not let their person see the phone. There's usually a reason for that. They're definitely hiding something, or they don't want something seen because now it'll become once you disrespect that, for me, that's it.
Right.
Done. You don't have to physically do anything, you're done.
Right.
So I think it's funny. Most people won't, they hide things, they put their screen face down, like notification, all these things. It's I don't know. It's a weird thing for me to see. Like, do you trust your person? Yeah, I trust my person. Okay. Um, let them go through your phone.
Right.
And usually the guys and the girls will say no. Why is that?
Yeah.
I think they
I
should
think
be able to, whatever, who cares?
I do too.
I don't want to go through my person's phone because if I have an inkling of something, I don't want to be with them anyway.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, well, let me see your phone. Like, here you go. Go for it. You can scroll through all that shit all you want. But it's so rare. No one wants to do that because they're hiding something.
Yeah.
And usually it's a disrespectful relationship ending thing, which they may think it's innocent. It's not. Oh, we're just texting, we're just talking, we're just flirting. Nope. Nope.
Right.
Nope.
I mean, for me personally, I have no problem with a girl going through my phone if she
Me
asked.
neither. Me neither.
I just really, for me, I'm not gonna go through my girlfriend's phone because
Agreed.
I have
Agreed.
other things I'd rather do. Like if
Mhm.
a girl's gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat, and I'm not gonna stop you because I got stuff
Mhm.
to do. I have things
Mhm.
going on, and the grass is always greener. By all means, go for it.
Yeah, go for
Because
it.
like you said, there's still plenty of girls out there. There's plenty of guys out there. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like for me personally, like I'm not going to go through, and I'm sorry for my camera difficulties. I'm not going to go through my girlfriend's phone because I just think
Yeah.
that's, I think you got to have I think you got to have some privacy. But I have no problems if someone questions my integrity, go for it.
Yeah.
Let me know what you find. You'll probably find a lot of old losing betting slips because I do lose on my sports bets, but they're only like dollar bets. I don't have any issues here.
Yeah.
So, so that's
Yep.
that. Hey,
Yeah, I think
Greg, you dropped
communication's
the,
lost.
yeah,
I think it's lost. People all say
yeah,
they communicate, but they really don't. True communication, I think, is like deep and it's vulnerable, and everyone likes to throw that word around, like be vulnerable with your person, but like really do it though. Like put it all out there. What's the if they're their person, they're gonna be there. I don't know.
well, well, I think people don't know what vulnerable means anymore.
They don't. They don't. They don't.
Or I'll throw this one out. I'll throw this one out to you, Greg. Maybe because we've seen the emasculation of men over the last 4 or 5 years. Maybe
Mhm.
when a girl wants a guy to be vulnerable, they want to emasculate them. You think that is something that could be on their mind? Let's
I
throw
mean,
it
it
out
could
there.
be like, a lot of girls like, oh, you should be able to cry in front of your girl. You cry in front of your girl, she gonna look at you different. She is gonna look at you different. Depends on what it's for, but I still think there's a fine line there. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I wouldn't do it all the time because I'm telling you, they're gonna take this as weakness and they're gonna look for a stronger person.
Right.
I wish I was
But
wrong.
yeah, I wish you were too. But you're right. And because I show all emotions around people, and you've seen me cry, you've seen me
Yeah.
all sorts of right, as we
Mhm.
all do, right?
Mhm.
I always feel like if they're gonna judge based upon your like if you cry or whatnot, and they do leave you, there's always that, let's go back to what I know.
I think girls use crying more for manipulation. So I think if they see a guy cry, they're gonna go back to their default and say, "Oh, he's just trying to manipulate the situation," which maybe he is. But most girls will just cry to either fix, get out of, or divert from a situation that they've probably caused or created.
Right.
So,
Right. And also along those lines, a lot of girls will bring their and guys too. Let me make that clear because
you're so
I've
nice,
probably done
Mike.
it. I've done it. Oh, what's the facts? It's true. They bring baggage into a new situation.
Mhm,
And I've never done this because it's just something I've always been good at compartmentalizing. Like
mhm,
I've never really judged or said, "Oh, gee, you remind me of my ex," or "My ex used to do this," or "My ex," right? Um,
mm,
I have girlfriends of mine, like said a girlfriend of mine last night, over here in Boynton. And she's like, wow, she's like, so and so used to do that. And I had to take a deep breath and I had to let it go because,
mhm.
I was on my way to meet somebody anyway. So I had a quick bite to eat and then another friend of mine for a bite to eat. But long story short, I feel like if you're constantly being compared to an ex, that might be something to kind of keep into consideration. Or as a guy, you're constantly comparing a girl to your ex.
Yeah. You shouldn't compare at all.
No.
And I think for the guys, because we're talking about guys here,
Yeah.
if a girl's not over her ex,
Yeah.
do not proceed
Yep.
at all. It's just not worth it. It's not gonna work. And I'm talking when she's completely over him. And they shouldn't, I'm sorry, they shouldn't talk. Big debate going on. Should you be friends with exes? I think there's certain situations, and if enough time has passed or whatever, maybe. But a lot of girls want, oh, I want to still be friends. Why? Because it's just gonna it could muddy the waters down the line. And leaving doors open in certain bad situations,
Mhm.
I don't think is good or healthy for that person on an individual level, let alone if they're going to get involved with somebody that's real. That's just not
I
good.
agree.
But I think you should make sure, girls too, make sure they're over their ex fully and then go for it.
Right.
It will never work. It might even work for a couple weeks, a couple months, might even work for a year, but it will never work long term if that door's not completely shut.
I
So,
agree. Because I think a lot of guys, when they meet a girl, they'll kind of like subconsciously use that situation to help them get over something. And I think girls will too, because
mhm,
maybe a girl will give a guy attention they haven't seen in a while. So
mhm,
like they tend to latch on and vice versa when a girl gets attention
mhm,
from a guy. So it becomes like I'm not consciously using this person, but I am because I want to get over my ex or I have a need
mhm.
that because we're all human. We all got needs.
Yeah,
That need for connection is huge. But I think there's also um, something to be said for a warning. In the beginning, it can be very easy to get caught up in it. But I think
yeah,
again, having healthy boundaries, which I don't have, I'm working on that. Having healthy boundaries is important because it allows people to kind of do their thing without becoming too morphed in there. Greg, any final thoughts about this? You covered a lot of great ground, dropped a lot of great nuggets of knowledge on us, but I just put a bow on this episode for us, pal. Dating in the modern era. Sum it up for us,
It's
pal.
shit. It's shit. No, just
Yeah, I
stick to
agree.
your non-negotiables and stick to your confidence and what you want. If you see a red flag, it is a red flag, people, and just take note and stick to your choice, and which it is, it's your choice. It's hard. It's not easy. It's getting harder. And I think the younger generation is, I'm so glad we grew up when we grew up. I couldn't even imagine being in like high school now where there's not even like talking. And I just think it just leads to, there's a whole generation that never talks, but they're going on dates, they're Snapchatting, all of that. Let's just say they end up having kids. How are you going to communicate with your kids if you didn't even communicate with your partner? Now you're teaching that to your kid. The next generation is going to be like AI. Like, how are they going to talk to their parents? The parents don't even talk. How'd you guys meet? Oh, I don't know, on an app. Okay. I don't know. That's strange to me.
Yeah. I think at
Just
the
my
end of the day,
opinion.
we're very simple people, and I long for the days of when we were innocent. I've never, I don't think I've ever really been truly innocent before. I think maybe I
Mhm.
was up until a certain age, but when when I see your little girls,
Mm.
will see people, and you can see
Mhm.
the the beauty and the joy. And now I'm going to get a
Yeah.
little emotional here because it's, and you see like, where does it go wrong? Like, where did we go in a society where like, how come like, I see people at my church, they get married young, they thrive, and I'm like, damn, like how does that happen? It's like both good
But
and
that's a
bad. Like
lot of
where does
optics, dude. You don't know what it's like behind closed doors.
it's true. It's
I'm
true.
not hating. I'm not hating, but you're just seeing a snapshot for an hour on a fucking Sunday. That's not,
Right.
there's a whole other 6 days of the week
It's
plus,
true. But there's common ground.
to a
And
degree.
if
Yeah.
you're rooted in drugs, more importantly, going to be hanging out at a crack house. If you and your partner
Mhm.
do drugs, right?
Mhm.
Or what might not be. But it's like I long for the days of innocence to where, you know, girl meets boy, boy meets girl, they fall in love with. I mean, maybe that never existed. Maybe it's something that's always something been fermented in my mind. It's like, wow, like you see it on TV, especially in the 80s when we were growing up. It was like girl meets boy, boy meets girl, they fall in love, they go through
Mhm.
their turmoil, but they overcome it and they survive. You always said we were born a decade too late, which I agree with. Like,
Yeah.
look at all the classic 80s movies and all the love stories that came out of the 80s. And man,
I
like
think it still exists, but it's just
it's
it's the minority by far. It's such a
yeah,
small percentage. And
it's sad.
I
Sad.
also think, you know, the the narrative of I don't need a man, it's going to catch up years down the line where I forgot the statistic. I got to give it to you. They said a certain percentage of women are not going to have kids, and it's just the population's go like it's just it's a very slippery slope with things. And now there's, population, and there's not a lot of babies and not a lot of families. Like, okay, how does that look 30 years from now?
Yeah.
No one cares because everyone's selfish to a degree, which is fine. But it affects major areas long term. Like the invention of OnlyFans is great financially for some women, some girls. But what reality statistic will that majorly affect 40 years from now, 30
Yeah.
years from now? It definitely will. It's going to change the United States for a long time down the road because you're going to have this whole generation of those people. And let's be honest, most of them aren't going to have kids. They'll all say they never wanted kids, but we all know that's bullshit. But that will affect certain categories and certain areas of statistics down the road.
Agreed. I think in the grand scheme of things, any narrative that you have when it comes to dating, you'll find someone to fit that.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
There are good
I think
people out there.
there are good
I'm
people
not a
out there.
complete asshole. There are some good people. It's just very few
Absolutely.
and far between. And it's hard to decipher all that and sift through all the bullshit. And if you
Yeah.
find that person, you're very lucky. And if they find you, they're very lucky, and you gotta hold tight, and hopefully they don't get influenced by literally what's in their face 24/7. And I hate
Yeah.
living like that. I hate thinking like that, but it's the truth. Because the odds nowadays are not for that couple that's in love.
Yeah.
They want to see it wrecked, not survive and thrive.
And everything's so damn complicated these days. Like everything is just so complicated. It's just like
Mhm,
he's got an ex, she's got an ex, he's got this, she's like, if there's just so much BS out there, it's
mhm.
like, why can't stuff be simple? I like you
They
like
wouldn't
me.
know what to do if they had something simple because they've never had simple their whole lives. So they go back to like what you said, their default and what they know. If you know chaos or if you know certain broken things, well, then you're going to go back to that. And it's like we say, we know a lot of our friends that are girls. They keep dating these assholes because that's all they've ever done since they started dating when they were younger, and that's all they know. So when they meet a nice guy, they literally don't know what to do, and they treat them like shit, and then they regret that for the rest of their lives.
And then we look at some of our friends who've just completely shut it down, both men and women. They just shut it down. And it's so sad to be
I
so
get it
cut
though, man.
off.
I completely get it.
I do
I get
too.
it. I
I
get it.
do too. It's like, how do you shut yourself off and, I think deprive yourself of another person's love? But I think the sadder thing is like,
But you're not really depriving yourself if you're in that mindset.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm
yeah,
playing
I
both
get it.
sides here. I see what you're saying. But to that person, they're not deprived at all because they're not going to deal with any more bullshit because they dealt with all that shit and
Yeah,
they're out. They don't want to play the game anymore. I get it. Get tired
yeah,
of it. Especially when it starts dipping into emotions, finance, where you have to live, that you don't see your kids or whatever, like you're on a
yeah,
schedule. Yo, that could fuck somebody up big time. I totally get it now.
yeah,
Totally get it.
yeah. And then you have people that just want like, look, like you can. They have open friendships with benefits. Hey, listen, you go do you, I do me. This
Mhm.
whatever. We'll meet up, we'll link up because people don't
That's
want
fine.
that. Well,
It's
yeah,
fine. It's a big scene now, and it's more
yeah.
open now to talk about it, which that's always been around,
Always
especially
been
down
around.
there. But you know, that's a choice. That's fine. And if those people are happy, that's cool. I don't hate on that.
Not at
You live
all.
your life, I live mine. It's all good. Don't
Meet
don't try
up.
to infiltrate my shit though.
Yeah.
Don't try to come at me or don't try to recruit me or my person because I have a problem with that. But if my person falls for that, then all right, you're done and you're not my person. So
Yeah. It's crazy, man. And definitely worth a deeper dive into
yeah.
this. Greggy T, your nuggets of knowledge, definitely appreciated, sir.
Yeah.
One last thing, Greg. If
Hmm.
somebody wanted a one-on-one consultation with you, if you really wanted to coach and counsel a guy on how to find the perfect girl or how to maximize their potential, where can they reach out to you?
I wouldn't talk to somebody about finding the perfect girl. The only thing I'm passionate about is have some goddamn confidence in yourself. I don't care what you look like, how much you weigh, if you're short, if you're tall, if you're fat, if you're muscular, if you're a juice head. I don't care about any of that. You can all have confidence, and that's what you need. You got to start there. It'll bleed into every other part of your life, but you don't do things for girls. Girls will always be around. Start doing you. Do things for yourself and walk around with your fucking head up high. And start there. I don't care if you're short and fat. Be short and in shape. Get in shape. And you'll get more confident. That's fine. But don't let these people browbeat you every day into being submissive or a simp or what they're looking for now, or giving them more of ammo to think how they think. I'm just saying, pull your shorts up and be a man because it's needed nowadays. We need men. We need men.
Well, I think a lot of people out there have forgotten what a man is and they've
Hmm.
settled for what they settle for. So
Yeah, and I don't want to hear it then. If you settle for what you settle for, that's fine. I don't want to hear you complaining. I don't want to hear you complaining. It's that simple. You chose that and you're choosing to stay, then shut up and stay there.
Well, I gotta end this on something you said earlier about not being saints. Mrs. T, I am a perfect saint. Greg has been a bad influence on me. He tried to corrupt me,
Yes.
but
Yes. Yes. He's right, Mom. He's right.
And my favorite liberal in Orlando, Florida. I'm signing off, Greggy T. It's pool
Yeah,
time.
I'm done. Yeah.
It's pool time. I got to cool off because this episode was so hot and it's 109 degrees outside. I have to come back with at least a nice semi-tan.
I'm going to the range. Get some
Nice.
some brass
It's
downrange. And I got to get my
nice.
bow
I'm going to
restrung.
put some SPF 12 on.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'll be seeing you in a couple weeks, sir. That'll be fun. The girls are amped. Girls are amped.
You will. We're going to get the slide again, go down.
Yeah. I got to go find what crashed in my house. So we'll see what that was. That didn't sound too good. Everyone, thanks for listening, everybody. Appreciate it. And just, guys, keep your head up, please. Please have some confidence. All right. Later, everybody.